All right, fellas, got a nice older Craftsman 28-inch snowblower with an 8 horsepower, about between 8 and 10 Tecumseh engine. They rate them all a little bit differently. I'm not sure exactly the differences between all of them, but they're all basically the same, maybe slightly different bore sizes or how they rated it. These are really great machines, and this one needs a carburetor. You can take a look here. This carburetor is shot. We'll get a little closer look in a bit. So I'm going to put a HIPA carburetor on it. So shout out to HIPA for helping out on this project. Yes, you can still find some OEM style carbs, but they're going to be very expensive, well over $100 when you can get them in there. They're around. There's some people that are actually making to spec, but the HIPA carburetor works really good. And a little extra bonus is that this is a fully adjustable HIPA carburetor. So it has both the idle jet mixture screw and it's got the high-speed mixture screw. So that's a big bonus. That will be another video. I'm not sure if that video will be out at the same time this video is out. Try to release this video first. Now, that second video will be a companion video to this and to the rebuild of the machine, or I should say the service of the machine. That'll get into, like, how I go about adjusting one of these, because there's a bit of myth and magic to it and some technical proficiency to actually getting one of those carburetors adjusted, one of these carburetors adjusted, and getting it sweet and ready and consistent. Just to be truthful, if you look at the way the carburetor is set up, it's at the bottom, and then it has an intake tube that goes up a manifold, and it comes up like this and goes over by the exhaust. It's a flathead engine. These engines are very powerful engines. I think the 8 horsepower Tecumseh is exactly what you want, particularly where I live on Long Island, for some of that heavy snow. It can lift it, it can shove it out. Anything that's around the 5.5 horsepower, whether it's a Tecumseh or a Briggs, I'm going to say it, unless it's one of those dry powdery snows or you're just doing a bit of cleanup, you got a little area, those things just don't cut it. You need at least 8 horsepower. But these motors run a little rough, fellas, and that's why in that other video I get into tuning it. But even then, they tend to whine and complain a little bit. There's a difference between an engine that is hunting and surging versus an engine that is tuned, and you'll hear it maybe fart and kick and burp a little bit every now and then. So these engines will tend to do that. So in this episode, I'm going to show you a bit about taking off the carburetor, putting one on, just basically getting it going, and just a look and peek inside of what, if you want to repair one of these, whether you own this model or a similar model, they're all basically the same, or not, or you're thinking about buying one. I got a customer coming tomorrow to drop off 2 that he recently purchased. He's a contractor, has a bunch of machines laying around, and decided to go out and pick up something very similar. This machine is for one of the town fellers. So I'll be doing some work on this machine as well as the others coming up in the future, so stay tuned for those videos. But let's get started on this one. Let's get this carburetor off, take a little peek at the differences real quick, get the carburetor on, get it started up, a few tips and tricks, what you can expect. And I think it'd be worth it. There's a lot more to do on this machine. Those will be separate videos. Let's get going. It's always easy to take the muffler off. I like to put some of my release agent, which is the tranny fluid mix, right? It's good for so many things, about 50-50. If it's that's a little thick, but if you want it to penetrate better, yeah. So, muffler's off. I've mentioned this before. Factory carbs, usually you'll see it's like a triangle, the 2 holes in the bottom and the one up top, right? That smaller rod comes over here to the governor and it's in front. The bigger rod comes back over here to the controller. And the hose looks pretty good. I'm going to put a little bit more release agent on that and work it out careful. I'm just going to make sure I inspect it. But let's just get this off. I'm going to work that hose a little bit. And because with all the covers off and everything, fellas, let me turn this light on. Remember this is stuck. Okay, so we're going to pull that off. So with everything off, you got to take this stuff off because it's the only way to really get in here properly. Right? This is not a new machine or newer machine. These are great machines. Let me get started. Yeah. I had a hard time getting it off. I had to put my penetrant lube. See it? My penetrant. Once again, my friend. Yeah, that shot. Get that shot, fellas. Oh, we got to take this bracket off. This bracket off. By the way, these don't like to come off. I'm going to show you what I do. All right, I'll set the camera up. This is shot. Okay, it's shot. When you have a HIPA, right, I think we could use this one. We should use it. I'm going to take a peek in there again. It's got everything we need. Got the little primer over there. I just used another HIPA Carburetor 2 on a blower, on a ground blower. Worked good. And we'll lube this up too. Let me just, yeah. Let me... Oh, they got the Phillies with the Phillips heads on it. All right, let me show you what I'm going to do. One of the reasons why I like my cheaper Ryobi, okay, because it's not going to break anything. A good Phillips head, right? And I kind of have it lightly chucked in the vise. You don't really need to. You could do it in your hand, but it's just easy to set the camera up. Done. All right, because they put Loctite on. See, and now it just, you know, the Phillips head fits good. And now it's off. It's not stripped out. You don't, you know, the screws are still good. Screw heads are good. I'll get this off. This usually comes out by hand because it's a hex nut, but these are Phillips. So we're good to go. Stand by. All right, fellas, let's take a look at what's in the box. All right, so I got the carburetor. Actually, I used this one already for something else, so I've already been in it, but I always like to check to make sure, right? A lot of times you'll see, look, from whatever I was using, it got a little bit of debris in it, and that was just, even though I clean out tanks and everything, you can never be too clean, so I'm going to rinse that out in a little bit. I'm probably going to do it tomorrow because it's the end of the day. But it has everything we need. It's got the French tickler on the bottom, right? That's your bowl drain to get out the garbage at the bottom, which is great just to get out some waste or water that might be down there. It happens occasionally. This one had it, but no one ever did anything with this one. I'm not turning it upside down, but it's got that little thing there. And it's the same construction. It's got a nice brass coated, I don't know if it's brass or steel, but it's got a nice brass coated hose nipple there. Perfect for us. It's got adjustable, one of the things I like is the adjustable idle set. And on the bottom, here's your jet. Okay, it has the adjustable high speed, which, you know, I just love that because the barometric pressure goes up and down when you're snow blowing as these storms come and go, and you need to be able to make some fine tuning adjustments, particularly with the high speed. Generally, once you nail the idle, it's pretty good. Now, here's the plug. So she was running a little sooty and... All right. Now, they also gave me, HIPA gave me a Z4C plug. Jing Ying. That's who's making them. And everything seems to be about the same. The barrel's a little bit smaller. The plug is a little bit taller. It uses a different, I think it's 3/4, not, what is it, 13/16. And up here, this is a screwed on, the upper barrel here. So this is the heat sink area. It's a little different. It probably has the same heat range. Make sure you tighten these, right, when you go to put them on. Make sure that's tight. So we'll try that. Also in the bag comes, let me open it up, but depending upon your application, there may be some slight differences. And so this is an additional lever. It's all metal. There's no plastic. So there may be some differences. And there's also a choke blade and a screw for it. And a nice thing is an extra gasket, jet gasket or bowl gasket at the bottom. These things, everybody's using them. And I sometimes I like the older variants better. Hold on to your old jet. Yeah, let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Show you what I'm talking about. Hold on to these. If you can get the gasket off. Well, this one might be all borked, but yeah, see, the gasket's here. Well, let me dump this. These gaskets are a different kind of a fiber, so I usually put some of my release agent on it and leave it sit for a little bit. I keep extras just in case you get a leak, all right? And if it so happens that you get another one of these, this one's shot, but that's the big bowl gasket. You can buy them cheap. I buy them on Amazon or whatever. So this is all garbage. And then we'll put the rest of the stuff back on. And you also get these gaskets. Now these are actually the gaskets that you would need to mount everything back up, mount your carburetor to here. Ours are in good shape, everything, because I use the release agent. And I like to put a little bit more on. That's my tranny sauce, 50-50 mix or so, tranny and gas. Also on the block, I did that. I cleaned everything up. We got all our hardware out. I'm going to go grab some food, and I'll probably finish this up tomorrow. But it's nice stuff. Like I said, I just sold the machine. The fellow really liked the way it ran. It ran good. And these are adjustable. So this is just a great carburetor. I've used carburetors like that for years. I've put them on all kinds of machines. You just got to make up adapters. All right, I'll see you guys later. We'll be back. All right. Put some on here too. Now, just to make sure, we got a flat here. We're going to put the flat towards the back of the fulcrum. And that's it. That's how it has to go. All right. 7/16. Don't wrench it down like, you're trying to torque your head bolts on your diesel. So it goes like this, so we got to go this way. The gaskets are all in great shape, so we get to keep the extra gaskets, so we're good there. Now one of these bolts, let me put the other bolt on first. Because this nut, interestingly enough, literally is so tight to the carburetor body. You're probably not going to be able to see it, but I don't have the overhead camera on, but it's so tight, fellas, that... Can you see it? Yeah. So tight. I don't have the extra light on. You're not going to be able to spin it. So if you put this bolt in, you have to set it up like this. My hands are all greasy now. There we go. Okay, that's enough. I put it on so that we can get at that adjustment. Looks like we just barely can get at it. These have the little lock washers. You probably can't see it, but it's got a tiny little lock washer. So we don't need to put anything on there. But it's a simple thing. Take pictures, with your phone. Right. That's the screw, so you need to be able to get at that screw. Okay. You need to be able to get at that screw to adjust it. So this is better than what was there, is they started cheaping out. This is a slightly newer variant of this machine. Just a touch of some thread locker. Because the vibrations. Also, you're going to want to put thread locker on the screws here, right? That hold the whole face on, which I got to go find that stuff. But we'll get to it. There we go. because they can vibrate out. You don't want to be losing this stuff in the snow somewhere. And generally, I don't have an issue with it, but still. Customer machines, they don't check stuff. You know, they're not paying attention. They may not notice it. So, and you wouldn't want to suck one in at full throttle either. I don't think that would happen, but it's, you know, hey. All right, I'm just going to tighten it by hand. That's good. That's good. There's still a little bit left on those threads. Yeah, that's good. All right, no banger gun on these kinds of things. All right, and I got the choke working, make sure she's working. I can see in there. Oh, and she birdie. Yeah, that's nice, fellas. That's nice. All right, I got more stuff to do. All right, let's just take a look at the layout so that you can see. We want to get... I probably be better off if you went on the other side of this hose, right? I would think. Comes back around because we've got this guy here. That's not really a problem, but I mean, it's not terrible, but you know, it's kind of just like laying in there. All right, so you got the top of the triangle, right? Everything's good here. A little Loctite on these, okay? And here I'm going to put a little no-sees because there's a keeper that goes on there because they'll rot into place over time from the heat and the vibrations and the horror and the dissimilar metals. The high, you know, the oxidation from an environment like that, just so that you can see what it all looks like. And of course down here, right, over here, that's your kill, right? We don't need that key thing. We don't need this. You don't use that, right? That's for children. So make sure that's clean, it's not rusty, and that's making good contact, because that's your kill. All right, I think we're good here. I'm going to put the muffler on, which is over here. I just put some of my high temp on it. Like I said, a little no-sees on those threads. They don't use a gasket, sadly, although you can modify one and put one on. You just need a high temp exhaust-style gasket. Sometimes I've even used the Briggs, and I've modified them and got them on there. You know, Briggs like 190cc lawnmower style. All right, I think we're good, fellas. And then we'll bring it out. I'll get the gas tank on, and we'll bring it out. We'll run it up, and then we can bring it back in and change the oil. All right, fellas. Yeah, I let everything cool down nice. I've been busy doing other stuff. I even stopped for lunch. All right, so let's give it a little bit of choke, a prime, about midway. right, she runs good, and it was cold, and you can see I just gave it a tweak, pushed it in a little bit, just a tweak, and you can see when it's a little cold, it wants to idle about 2,000, and then you actually heard it. You may have heard it. It came up about 25, right? Because as she starts to warm up, and she's not warm. As it starts to warm up, it's gonna come up a little higher. So we don't want to overdo it. I think this is fine. Let's bring it inside for the final. All right, this back on, little Loctite there, and there's also one back here, fellas. So don't mix those screws up. Take pictures, okay? Now we can put the actuator on for the chute. So once this is all on, don't put it on until you're ready. And of course, I don't put that key back, as I mentioned earlier. Don't put it on until you're happy with your tuning. A little bit of Loctite, because these things will back out on you. You'll lose them, just like everything else. So if it doesn't have a lock washer or a serrated bottom, because some of these actually do have some serrated bottoms to them, and they're like locking head bolts, then you want to put Loctite on. And once you're happy, you can put this back, because you shouldn't have to take it off again for a long time. Keep it nice, and it'll serve you well. All right, fellas, so there'll be a little bit more to do on this machine, but as you can see, she's in nice shape, right? As I said earlier, there'll be other videos on, going over the transmission disc, right, the friction disc, and some lubrication points and what have you, and just a general service. But this machine is in really good shape, and he kept it in pretty good shape. It even had still some of the plastic on it, on the front area, control panel area, the Protecto plate, right? If you can find these out there in various states of disrepair, but I think they're worthy of investing your time into them, or having somebody like me or somebody else go over them. Of course, I do how-tos as well as just general videos and project videos, and there are plenty of people out there other than myself that will show you how to fix these machines up and get them going again. I think they're very worthy. They're built well. I like to specialize and go for more towards the 10 and 15-year-old machines. I think that a lot of that stuff was built real well in the United States. It's, as some of the fellows have said to me, it's got good bones. All right, that's not necessarily my phrase, although I've adopted it. And it does. A lot of this older stuff was made in the United States back in the day, fellas, when people went to work building stuff for Briggs and Tecumseh and whoever else it was out there, MTD and Yardman, and they had car loans and mortgages, and they paid for vacations, and they went on family vacations, and they paid for very often college for their kids. And what a different time. So one way you can come back in time a little bit is to pick up a nice old machine like this, get it going again, and either sell it or hold on to it for yourself. It'll give you, if you take care of these things, I guarantee you they'll give you a good long life, and you'll be a proud owner, just like this fella is. He's got himself a nice piece of equipment, but they do require a little maintenance and love. I will see you on the next episode. Check out the other episodes on my channel, Archer's Garage, and in the folder for stuff like this. This is, I don't know what folder it's in. Probably going to be in something like, snowblowers and stuff, right? But I don't know if I'll have a specific folder just on this machine. I might. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.